Go look at any home listing right now. If there's no kitchen island, it's practically a deal breaker. 55% of kitchen remodels add or upgrade one. In high-end real estate, it's basically a non-negotiable. And yet, nobody sat down in 1985 and decided this was going to happen. Nobody elected the kitchen island as the centerpiece of American domestic life. It just took over. But there's also a darker side to this story, because the kitchen island has become so dominant that it's starting to shape homes in ways that don't actually work for the people living in them. So let's go back to the beginning. The original kitchen island was not a design choice. It was a tool. If you go back to medieval castles, places like Stirling Castle in Scotland in the 12th century, you find massive kitchens designed to feed hundreds of people at once, and right in the center of the room, a large wooden table. This was not there for decoration purposes or for gathering. It was just a practical surface where multiple people could prepare food from all sides at the same time. That table is the direct ancestor of your kitchen island. When kitchens moved into wealthy private homes during the Victorian era, that central table didn't disappear. It just got hidden. Kitchens were moved to the back of the house or into the basement. This was the place where servants worked. Now, no guest had any reason to wander into the kitchen, so for a long time, the kitchen island existed, but only in the dark. The first crack in the wall came from an unexpected place: factories. In the early 1900s, an engineer named Frederick Winslow Taylor was obsessed with eliminating wasted motion on factory floors. His ideas, called Taylorism, were about measuring every step a worker took and redesigning the space around them to make it more efficient. It didn't take long for those ideas to jump from factories to homes. By the 1920s, home economists were applying the same logic to kitchens. How many steps does it take to get from the refrigerator to the sink? How far does someone walk to reach the stove? This thinking produced the Frankfurt kitchen in Germany, the first kitchen designed as an integrated system with built-in cabinetry and a layout that minimized unnecessary movement. It's also where we get the concept most of us still hear about today: the kitchen work triangle. The idea is to arrange your refrigerator, sink, and stove so you can move between all three in as few steps as possible. We still think about this on every kitchen project. The triangle isn't a rule anymore, but the instinct behind it is. None of this is romantic, it's engineering, but it planted an important idea that the kitchen was a space worth designing seriously. And then the Great Depression hit, and suddenly, middle-class families couldn't afford servants anymore. The person who used to be hidden in the back of the house, the cook, was now the wife. Frank Lloyd Wright saw this clearly. In the 1930s, he started designing homes specifically built for families without live-in staff. His Willie House was the first recorded open kitchen, a glass partition that let the person cooking look out into the dining room. He called the kitchen the psychological center of the home, a modern version of the ancestral hearth. And a few decades later, something happened that brought that idea into millions of living rooms. In 1963, a woman named Julia Child premiered a cooking show on public television called The French Chef. She was warm, funny, and kind of chaotic in the best possible way. She dropped things. She made mistakes. She talked to the camera like it was a friend sitting across from her. But the design detail that changed American kitchens forever wasn't her personality. It was where she stood. Julia Child cooked at a freestanding island, facing the camera. Before her, cooking happened with your back to the room. You faced the wall, the stove, the counter. The work was private. Julia flipped it. She stood behind the island, facing outward. And suddenly cooking became a performance, a conversation, something you did with people rather than for them. Millions of Americans watched this and felt something shift. The kitchen didn't have to be a place you disappeared into. It could be a place you faced the world from. People wanted that. They wanted to cook like that, to feel like that. The Food Network turned up the volume on everything Julia started. The island wasn't a workspace anymore. It was a stage, a signal about what kind of life you were living. And that feeling isn't just cultural, it's psychological. There's a field called neuroarchitecture, the study of how physical spaces affect your brain and body. And researchers in this field have spent real time trying to understand why kitchen islands feel so good. They found that the kitchen island triggers something very old in us. Humans gathered around fire for most of our existence, not sitting in rows, everyone in a circle around a central point. The kitchen island recreates that exact dynamic. Unlike a dining table, which almost always has a head. An island is accessible from all sides. Nobody is sitting at the power seat. The parent can be cooking on one end while a kid does homework on the other. A guest can lean on the corner. Research actually backs this up. A study from Poland found that the kitchen was the single most emotionally loaded space in the home. The place where family life was practiced, remembered, and mourned when the kids left. The island isn't just countertop, it's where daily life happens. But is it actually worth it? The data is pretty clear. Kitchen remodels recoup about 60% of their cost when you sell. Among all the rooms in a house, the kitchen is consistently the one that most influences buyers' impressions. And the island is usually the first thing they see. At the top of the market, these numbers get absurd. There are custom islands that weigh 2.5 tons. Slabs of marble or engineered quartz stretching 14 feet. Islands with invisible wireless charging built directly through the stone. That's where we are with kitchen islands right now. Here's the thing nobody tells you before you remodel. The kitchen island rewards the people who think before they build. And the ones who struggle with theirs almost always made the same avoidable mistake. Designers will tell you an island needs at least 42 to 48 inches of clearance on the working side, 36 inches minimum on the other. Get that right and the island works exactly the way it's supposed to, open and connected. The mistake is when someone looks at an unusually shaped kitchen floor plan and instead of designing a functional rectangular island, they just shrink the shape of the room and stick it in the middle. The island works so well in so many kitchens that it's easy to assume the hard part is deciding to get one. It isn't. The hard part is getting it right for the specific room you have. The most financially rewarded kitchen layout, the one that photographs best, sells fastest, and commands the highest price per square foot, is the large open concept kitchen with a massive island. Which means that's what gets built, over and over, often without asking whether it's the right fit. And that's actually the most interesting part of the whole process. Not every kitchen needs a massive island. Some rooms work better with a smaller one. Some work better with a peninsula. Some need the island moved 6 inches to the left. The homeowners who end up with kitchens they genuinely love are the ones who ask those questions first. Because the goal was never to have an island. The goal was to have a kitchen that actually works for how you live. And that's a much more interesting problem to solve. So here's where we land. The kitchen island is genuinely great. The psychology is real. The history is fascinating. The way it restructured domestic space, pulling the cook out of isolation, making the kitchen a place for connection. That's a real and meaningful shift in how people live. The ones that work best aren't the biggest or the most expensive. They're the ones that were designed for the room they're in and the people using them. That democratic, campfire quality, the feeling that everyone's on equal footing, that the kitchen belongs to everyone in it, that's still what makes a great island great. It just takes someone actually thinking about your space to get there. Nobody planned for the kitchen island to take over American homes, but that shouldn't stop you from planning one for yours.